Welcome back to season 2 of The North Remembers, a discussion on House of the Dragon. We have been waiting, 2 years now? About?
Long time.
Yeah, a long time for this show to come back. And it came back with a force, I think. I think it's pretty good. It deviates a bit, but as it did in season 1, it's still good deviation, I think, so far. So let's just get right out. Oh, and Tisha is with us. My lady Tisha is with us now because she's a big fan of Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. So she thought she'd get in on it and give her opinions and ideas. And she listened to the book with me too. So first up, the new intro. I like the new intro.
The stitching.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Kind of shows like the Doom, I noticed, and then like different parts of the Targaryen history that wasn't. It like gives you, well, if you listen to the books like we have, it gives you all that pre-Jaehaerys info.
In
a brief stitching, and it's kind of cool for people that have listened to the book or read the book, if you're cool enough to read, or got the time to read.
Makes you wonder if like there's going to be some kind of an element, because you always see, what's her name? Helena stitching. That's like her, what she does.
Yeah, that was a cool little thing too. She's the one that's always stitching stuff, and I like how it ended with like him in green and then her in red, and it was like showing it all kind of like milking away.
Yeah.
Like shit's about to go down.
And if you kind of notice on the shield too, there was like 5 or 4 or 5 dragons on his side, only like 2 on her. A little shield or whatever.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool little thing to liven it up and change it up a little bit from season 1, which we did as well, which you just saw, hopefully. And then it goes right into Winterfell.
Yeah, which I thought was a nice change of pace for House of the Dragon.
Yeah, it gave us major Stark fans a nice little reminder.
I think even just Game of Thrones fans. You
don't
really have to be a Stark fan.
Yeah. It was just cool to see a pre-Robert's Rebellion Winterfell. It was a little smaller.
Yeah. I definitely, they casted that role really well.
Oh, too. Yeah, he did real well. Cragen Stark. And I like how it showed, like the stones. He was talking about honor and how it was like honorable to go to the wall to people in the north. That was like not necessarily a bad thing for them. It was like a sense of duty and honor. And it showed like the townsfolk passing around a little bag.
Yeah. Well, that's what he said. He said that his ancestor, Torrin, created the tradition, I guess is the way he referred to it, as like 1 in every 10 men from House Stark just get selected or I would guess volunteer to go to the wall, and that's where it was honorable.
Like you're the only one.
Normally it was prisoners avoiding death sentences.
Yeah.
And so he was like, it's actually kind of honorable, and he even says, my oath to the north of the wall kind of supersedes my oath to the
south.
crown.
Yeah. This is more important. It's cool to see them like ride the thing up together. Yeah, and he even said that he's torn between the north and the south. I remember, and he said when Jaehaerys came up here with his wife, even their dragons were scared to cross.
Yeah, they wouldn't cross.
Which I don't remember him going up in the books.
Well, no, it was funny because, I don't think that ever really happened.
And she went up in the books, but
in the books, it was really.
Alysanne went up.
But it was really more focused on him in the Vale and the possibilities of the
Wolf Girl.
Yeah, the Wolf Girl. Yeah.
Where he could have that was Mushroom. We wish Mushroom. I know that Peter Dinklage nailed Tyrion, so they didn't think they wanted to put Mushroom in.
Could have got Brad Williams though.
Yeah. Oh my God, that would be so fucking perfect. That's gonna happen season 3, and if it does, this guy right here deserves credit, casting credit, because that is fucking dead on. Because it's like a more obnoxiously funny Tyrion.
Yeah.
Oh, he would be perfect.
Yeah, less clever, more perverted.
Yeah. Oh, he would be perfect for it. Yeah.
But yeah, Jaehaerys or whatever, he tells him, he was like, well, you're just guarding from wildlings and weather. And he's like, my ancestors didn't build a 700-foot ice wall to stop savages in snow.
Yeah.
He's like, what does it stop? And he's like, death.
Death. Yeah. And then it was just like, okay. And he kind of just like but he could tell that this fucking crazy northerner believes whatever it is. He might
It
not.
makes you wonder, do they not teach any of that kind of history in, under Targaryen rule or just in the South in general?
It's
Because
just like
it's
the
been
old
told
gods.
It's like 10,000 years old. That's when the last like real night came,
Yeah, so is it like just the old god keepers that really pay attention to that shit?
I guess. It's like myths.
Yeah, crazy fucking snow dwellers. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Oh, yeah, giants.
Yeah, giants.
Tiddlywinks.
Yeah, giants and stuff. Wow, yeah. But then I know he says, what is it? Then it goes straight to, oh no, he offers the old men. He says, you can take my graybeards. And he's like, they've seen their share of, winters and fights and stuff.
But
Like,
they
so
are
they're old?
honed.
He's
Yeah.
like, yeah, but they can fight.
Yeah.
They're
He's like,
northern.
they're honed.
Yeah.
They're not just old, they're experienced.
Yeah. He's like, all right, if your graybeards can fight, then we'll take them.
Yeah. So
That's
that's,
why I like
that's
Northern.
2,000 pledged.
Right off the bat. And then it goes to Dragonstone. And Rhaenys just shows up looking haggard, tired. She's been riding for days.
We can't breeze over the sweet ass fucking private dragon entrance to Dragonstone.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a fucking driveway, but they just like, it's like a valet. They pull in, park their dragon.
A guy comes up with a staff
Yeah.
and like takes it. And she's like, feed her
Yeah.
and feed me as well. And then
Yeah, because he comes out,
Damon.
Damon.
And he's like, we're going to. You got to fly with me. And she's like, no, my dragon. My Elise has got to gorge and rest, and so do I. He's like, we're going to fucking King's Landing to take out Aemon. He's like, I can't
No,
take Vhagar.
he says, yeah, we're going to kill Vagar.
And
We
her
can't
rider,
kill that. And it's one line they did take from the book specifically. He calls her a,
ornery old bitch or something.
oh yeah,
Hoary old bitch.
Yeah, he's like, I can't take that hoary old bitch alone.
Yeah, but with you, I could do it. She's like, no.
They have their little exchange where she's basically undermining him because he's not the king.
Yeah, and she's like, is this the queen's orders? He's like, the queen's absent. She shirks her duties. The
Yeah.
mother grieves while the queen shirks her duties and shit. And she's like, she's grieving. I didn't believe about my daughter until I saw her body.
And you see that kind of hit home to him too.
Yeah,
That's
he was
his
like,
wife.
yeah, that was his wife. He's like, fuck. She's like, and even then.
Yeah. And then he kind of gets on her case too.
If
Makes
you
a
would've done
decent
it-
point.
He makes a fucking way decent point.
Yeah.
If you had just taken care of this, Aegon's line would be extinguished. And this wouldn't even... And Luke would still be alive.
Yeah.
That's what he says.
Yeah. And not to jump forward on purpose, but it kind of reminds me when they're having the small council later that Otto is like, yeah, the chance for surprise and to end this conflict without war is out of hands now. Like, we have to play the board we have. It's kind of
Yeah.
the Bold making the same
Yeah.
point. Like, this could have been done.
Way easier.
Yeah.
Way
And
easier.
yeah, one family might really feel the wrath of it, but at least the whole realm doesn't feel it,
Yeah.
But now.
Now
yeah.
everybody's gonna fucking suffer for you guys fucking being stupid.
Yeah, but I probably would have forgot to make that call back later on, so I just.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Then it's off to Driftmark with the sea snake. And it doesn't really explain it until the end of the scene, which I will say, but clearly there's a guy there and he's looking over his ship. He's like, it's a wonder she's made it back from the Stepstones. And he's like, I need to get back out there, take over the gullet. And he's
Yeah.
like, yeah,
He's like,
that's gonna be weeks.
Quite a few weeks.
He's like, I'm sorry to hear about your grandson.
Oh yeah, because he hands him the
blade.
Yeah, and he's like, I had this
Commission for my grandson. And he's like, sorry to hear that. It's black as the treacheries. And then he goes to walk away, and he's like, I heard it was you that pulled me from the water. And he's like, I was merely doing my duty. He's like, I'm indebted to you, Alan. Now, Alan is really important in the books.
In the
And
books,
the
yeah.
show hasn't said it yet, so we won't say it yet if you only watch the show. But he is very, very important to the Valerians and the Reds in general.
and the fights to come.
Yes, very important. Then it goes to the Red Keep, where Sir Eric. Now I wrote Sir ERRYK. Now I might be Sir AARR.
Yeah.
Fucking K or whatever.
Eric and
Eric.
Eric.
Yeah, one of the two. The bad one though, because he's with. Well, that's all a matter of perspective, I guess.
Yeah.
He addresses the green soldiers on the parapet. He's like, remember your honor and your bravery and shit.
Well, you see some like slacking off and leaning and stuff, and it's like the boss coming through.
Yeah.
Like, stand attention, guys. Come on, shit could go down at any time.
Yeah, and then it's like, they hear a and then it's like they look up and they all get their scorpions ready. They flip around, they get their bows ready, like, uh-oh. He's like, calm, it's just Vagar. And you see her way up there with the holes in her wings and shit.
Yeah.
She looks badass.
Old, ornery, hoary bitch.
Yeah. And then it shows Aegon come into his wife's chambers, I guess, and he's looking at his kids, and even he doesn't know his kids well enough. Because they look so much alike with their blonde hair and shit. He walks up to the fireplace where two of them are sitting, and he like leans back, looks back at one, and is like, "Where's
Jaehaerys.
Where's Jaehaerys?" And she's like, Helena's like being her weird fucking self.
Stitching, sitting on the floor.
Tra-la-la-la. And she's like, he's in studies. You must not disturb him. And he's like, well, he's going to be king one day. He's going to the small council. She's like, what if he doesn't want to be? And he's just like,
Where is he?
where is he? Just tell me where. Don't be weird. Don't be fucking weird like you are. I'll leave you alone if you just...
In watching him handling
He is
his
so
family,
good.
I actually really kind of like.
He is.
Aegon.
He's a good actor, too.
Yeah.
Really good actor. And it's showing their acting ability a lot better now.
Yeah.
They're giving more opportunities because Helena's on point too. Because as he goes to leave to find his son, she says that she's afraid. And he's like, don't be. They would be foolish to attack with Vagar guarding the city. And she's like, not the dragons, the rats. And I didn't notice, but that is very important. I didn't notice that till upon second watching. And I even heard the books, and I still didn't catch on to that until I watched it the second time. That is very, very important here in a few moments.
Yeah, I caught that the first time. I was like, oh.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
And then if she says something weird, it's going to happen.
Yeah, you
So
usually
just
want
pay
to write
attention.
that one down.
Pay attention.
Put that one on your palm until the end of the episode, and it
And
might
be
make
like-
sense.
And then be like, oh, shit. You know, she knew all along.
But yeah, he kind of like, everybody looks around, the staff and him, they're like, rats, we don't see any rats.
And he's like, the queen is an enduring mystery, is she not? And he just kind of smiles,
He just kind of strolls away.
thinking nothing of it. And then just boom, quick cut. And this right here is the reason why my son doesn't get to watch till the rewatch. It's just bam, Sir Kristen is
Going down.
helping the queen very enthusiastically. Yeah, going down. And then it's just like over, and they're just sitting there, and he's like,
Yeah, it's not even like, it's just showing it for a second, and then all
Like,
of a sudden,
way hard, though.
he's like clipping on his gear and stuff already. And
no
I'm-
explanation. And then he's like, we're expecting a small council. And she's like, you can never do this again. Like, do what? Me go down on you? Okay, I'll never go
Yeah,
down
she's
on
like,
you
we can
again.
never
Sure.
do it again. But
You're never going to make me do that again. Right.
she does mention, I'm not sure if that comes into play, because I know that at the wall, he is like, so summer's finally over, like this is winter.
Yeah,
That's
she
what
says
winter
there's a
looks
chill,
like.
I think. Yeah,
Yeah, but at the wall, Jaehaerys, I'm just gonna call him Jace.
Yeah.
Jace says, "Oh, it's like winter is finally here," and the Stark
It's
is
like,
like,
"This
"No,
is
this
autumn."
is just a late summer storm."
Yeah.
He's like, "For winter, it would cover."
You ain't going to see
everything.
none of this shit.
And we'll forget what warmth felt like. And so she even says, as they're wrapping up and getting dressed, she's like, "There's a chill in the air. It seems summer is finally like through."
Truly over.
Yeah, truly
Well
over.
and truly over. And it's like, wow, that's like a tropical place. And they're feeling like,
Yeah, it's like California, and it gets down to like 68. Right?
yeah, like, oh, damn. 59? What the hell is this? Turn on the heater, man.
But yeah, so they get wrapped up, and he's like, "We gotta go to the council," and she says that they can't do it anymore, and he's just like, "Whatever you say, you're queen," you know.
And
He's
then
he kind of was a little simp boy, just like, all right.
But hey, if you're gonna be made to service anybody, the queen, and she's not like an old, ratty, nasty queen.
No,
she's
he
like
is.
fucking-
He's sloppy seconds. Rhaenyra was like, "You can have him. He's
Yeah.
a little bitch boy."
Yeah. And he's like, well, I'm already tainted and all that, so. This is the best I'm gonna get. This is a good situation.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's gonna play out weird.
Well, yeah, because when he gets, so then it go. I was gonna say they walk to the small council meeting, shows a rat catcher walk by, important.
Yeah.
But as they walk in, even Otto kind of looks at him, like as he's walking, like almost like.
Yeah, as he passes on, I was like,
what the fuck are you doing?
he's eyeballing both of them, like.
And then he goes and stands by Aegon's chair where he belongs.
Mm-hmm.
But like, why are you like
And
arriving late
with the queen? Yeah.
You should be arriving.
Yeah,
early.
everyone but the king is there, and they arrive last. And I get it. She's the queen. Oh, found out. Not queen regent. It's dowry queen.
Dowager queen.
Dowager queen.
Okay, that's what it means.
what
To be the
her-
mother of the king.
The acting king.
Oh, okay.
If he was underage, then she'd be the regent. But he's of age or whatever.
Yeah.
And
And then he brings
probably
his.
smelled like. Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like he was smelling it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say it, but it looked like it was like.
And if you think about it,
Is that fucking
the first
pussy on your breath?
Now that I think about it, the first watch through, I never thought about that because I thought it's the smell of sex, but no, he's eye level with Otto.
Yeah.
His nasty ass beard passes by him, and Otto's like, "What the fuck
Is that fucking
is
chotch in your beard?
that?"
And you were just strolling with my daughter? What the fuck? How unprofessional. And then Aemon shows up. Speaking of unprofessional, Aegon shows up with his little boy. And the little boy's just being a little boy of fucking 5 or 6. And just grabbing at the little stones that they have to... With the Lannisters. He's sitting next to Lannister. He's
Yeah.
grabbing Lannister's stone and like fucking banging it and rolling it off the table and stuff.
And he's like trying to be so nice. He's like,
Because he can't, like, what's he gonna do?
Yeah.
He can't yell at the king's
yeah,
kid.
he's like, give it back, and then he's like, that is so helpful. Like puts
Like
it
bashing
back.
it on the table. And then Aegon's just laughing like, ha, look at it. He's having fun. And then Alicent's the one that's finally like, okay, can we like get on with this? So that, you know.
Well, wait. Basically, they started.
He wants a pony ride. He says, yeah.
And he wanted to make Tylan be a pony for Jaehaerys, and then she was like, let's not do that. I don't need my son to be perceived this way.
Yeah, and I don't need
I'm trying to do
Lannister to be disrespected so badly.
Yeah, the Master Coin. Did they already have the gold by then, do you think?
They've got Oh yeah.
Okay.
What did she leave with?
Oh.
She was on Dragonstone. All her dad's money's still there.
No, I just mean the Lannisters. Like, they have gold mines or
Oh yeah, they still have all that stuff over there. They're just still one of the richer.
And he started
families.
saying how they're going to lock down the West, bringing in those troops. And they say that the Vale and the Stark or Winterfell haven't responded to them.
Yeah, and then he says the Riverlands are crucial. Aemon shows up and he's like, Alicent's like, what are you doing here? You're not, you don't have a seat here. And the king's like, I summoned him. He's my closest blood. He's our best sword. You should be here.
Yeah,
And then the first thing he does, he doesn't even talk to any of them. He just looks at the map and is like, you're going to need the Riverlands no matter what.
Yeah.
You're going to need them to submit. I'll go out, and then he's like, they're going to bend the knee, Aegon's going to bend the knee, or we'll take Sunfire and Vhagar and, make them
Yeah, Aegon's definitely eager to jump on some dragons and...
go fuck some shit up.
Yeah, and that's when Alicent steps in. She's
Like, you can't expose
we can't
yourself.
lose our dragons and, our king in the first battle, you know?
Vhagar needs to stay here and protect the city, and you are the king.
Yeah.
And then, that's when Otto says that point you were talking about. Where he's like, basically, our opportunity to... he's like, we should have killed her when we had the chance, is what Aegon says. And Otto's like, yeah, well, the opportunity for...
Surprise.
is gone.
Yeah.
So we got to kind of play...
Now we got to play war.
Yeah, and then Alicent kind of looks over at Aemon. They all kind of look at Aemon. And that's kind of like the only repercussion you see.
Well, it kind of bounces around because I feel Otto is frustrated with the queen because she's the one that was like, we need to give her the opportunity to bend the knee. We can't just go kill Targaryens and shit.
Yeah.
And then she's mad at Aemon because obviously Aemon
Lost his shit and killed a little kid.
Lost control of his dragon.
Yeah.
I'll give him that. That wasn't all him. But now they are where they are. So it's just like a chain of like shit rolls downhill kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's not very... Sensible. And then it goes to Aegon basically walking up the stairs, and then there's fucking.
Clubfoot.
Oh no, he's waiting for Allison. That's
Larys.
later. He's waiting for Allison right there. Yeah, Lord Larys is waiting for Allison. And he's like, tried to talk to you before the small council meeting, but your handmaiden said you were disposed. And he kind of like grins
She
at her.
has this
And then
little
she has
flutter.
this like fucking irritated look, meaning like he knows that I'm banging the help.
Yeah.
He knows everything, so he's clearly got to know that I'm banging the help. And he says that he's found every spy in the castle.
And he's personally hired all of her new personal
Staff, yeah. And gotten rid of them all. And then it shows her taking a bath, and she just like paranoid. She don't trust any of them.
Yeah, well, yeah, because she's the one that like grind up some like weird flowers or something.
And she's like
sleeping
looking
with
at
her.
her. And then I noticed what she does though, also, when she takes the rag and the gals leave, when she's sitting there by herself, she does the same thing she did with her fingernails. She does that with the rag on her shoulder. She keeps going really rough and like not paying attention, just kind of like zoning out.
And just doing the one spot.
One spot over and over and over again, kind
Yeah.
of like that nervous.
Checking OCD or
But fuck that dude's. He's in everything. He's everywhere.
creepy.
He is pretty creepy. I will agree with that.
Littlefoot, we call him.
Yeah.
Lord Larys.
Littlefoot, yeah.
Lord Larys the Littlefoot. He's Clubfoot.
Little finger, little foot. It's
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where we
fun.
got. That's where we
Yeah.
got it from. That's where we got it from.
Basically.
And then it's Dragonstone again, and it's outside of it though, and Rhaenyra is just.
No, that's Storm's End.
Is it Storm's End?
Because that's where it happened.
Oh, so she was closer to Storm's
She
End.
was
I
just
wasn't
hanging
sure how
off the
far.
beach, yeah.
So yeah, I put a question mark by it because I was like, I don't know where exactly. It's one of the beaches, but I don't know which one how far he got, or if it
Yeah.
was right outside of Storm's End. But yeah, she's flying around and sees some fishermen on the down at the beach, all freaking out about something. She fucking goes in there mad. Just had a fucking preemie baby and almost died and all that.
Yeah, I forgot about that part.
She's just fucking whooshes in, fucking jumps right off that thing. And yeah, I guess it's a dragon wing and his clothes. Which
Yeah,
in
it
the
looked like
book,
there was like a cargo net that looked like it caught both of them, and
Both of
she
them.
was able to pull his clothes out.
yeah, and then that was the deciphering moment. That,
It for sure is he's dead, yeah.
Yes. And in the books, they give you 3 different, versions. They give you, he survived his fall and, spent the rest of his life a simple fisherman because he forgot who he was. Another one was that a dragon swallowed him whole. And then the third one was the likely one. He fell to his death because it was way the fuck up there. He was only 13 years old.
Yeah. Or got just munched by the, he's
Yeah.
probably dead before he hit the ground.
Yeah, part of him,
Yeah.
ripped in half.
Or-
It was really sad to see her though. That was like the confirmation she needed, I guess, and it was just
And the scene ends with like her crying and holding the clothes, and then the dragon kind of comes up over her, and then just kind of howls out into
squeals into the sunset,
into the sky, the ocean sky.
and then it's off to court, back to the Red Keep for court, and they're walking in, right? And his buddy, Aegon the King, and his 2 little lackeys are walking in, and it's Aegon the Magnanimous. And funny thing is, when we were watching that D, David was like, "What?" And as Aegon's walking, before he even sits down, he looks at his own buddy and is like, "Magnanimous."
And then the guy
Like,
just
what the
shrugs his
fuck?
shoulders like,
I was like,
well, it's all I could come up with.
Like nobody fucking. These people are stupid. Nobody knows what that means. I don't know what that means.
So then he goes and sits on the throne, and Otto seems to like reluctantly go like, "Your Grace." Like he's been hating this part of the job probably.
Yeah, not looking forward to this. I mean, this is the kid that he picked up off the ground at Dragonstone a couple years before and was like, "Get
Drunk
your ass
as
to
hell.
bed.
Yeah,
Quit fucking grabbing the maids, you idiot."
yeah.
Shit like that. This is the kid that jacked off out the window in season 1. I forgot about that. We rewatched
Yeah, that
season
was-
1 right before season 2 came
that
out, and
was
I was just watching that and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, it's just jizzing
This
on
kid
his
needs to be belted,
people.
king or not. Where's his dad at? Just to fucking smack the shit out of him. What's the matter with you?
Imagine being that peasant.
Yeah,
Walking
you're
around.
walking by, and then it's just fucking.
And if it's on the highest tower, which apparently the royalty lives way up high on the towers, it's got to have some velocity by the time it gets to the bottom.
It's like a
Like,
hard
knocks
movie.
you out. Just oh.
fall down the stairs. That's how he died. And then he just assumed it's bird shit. A bird shit so hard out of the sky.
Oh, that's another thing. What about dragon shits?
How does that work? Never shows that. It shows their clutches of eggs, but it never shows that. So then it goes back to court. When they're at court, the first guy to say something is really nervous, and Aegon's like, "It's okay. No need to be nervous." And he actually seems like he's gonna do all
Yeah, he's
right.
like, what's your name?
He just wants what he believes. See, that's all you got to remember. It's all believed. Allison really does believe.
Yeah.
Otto doesn't care one way or another. He's like, you believe it? That's all I need.
Our house is in power.
Yeah. All I needed was you to believe. If
Yeah.
you believe, that's good enough for me. My grandson's on the throne. Cool.
Yeah.
I don't care if Viserys really said it or not. You know, Allison really does believe, and then Aegon, for that reason, believes. Like,
Yeah.
and for that reason, he believes, hey, my sister's kind of fucking off. This is supposed to be mine. Why piss everybody off? I'm being cool.
Yeah.
I'm offering her Dragonstone and all that. So he's trying to be cool to this little guy, and this guy's like, well, you took some of my sheep, you know, right before winter, and
When I need him the most.
when I need him the most, and he's like, okay, I'll return your sheep. And then Otto was like, no. We made a deal with all the small folk that we were going to have to take some sheep extra
All
because
livestock and supplies and stuff.
the dragons are going to need to be well fed for the fight, should they have to, you know, and all that. And for war in general, for all the extra flying they're going to be doing and all that shit. He's like, well, can I just give him back his sheep? Well, if you
He
give
came
him back,
all this way.
yeah, he came all this way, and he's like,
He's so innocent for a
Yeah.
second.
yeah, he's like, he's not so bad. He's not the bad guy you know him to be later
Yeah.
on. He's like, well, what if we just give him his sheep back? Yeah, he's like, well, if you give him his sheep back, you'll have people from End coming.
Everybody that we took from will be here.
Yeah,
And he says, well, they won't know.
Yeah, they won't
And
know.
he's like, when the king speaks,
they
all here.
yeah, they all hear it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, unfortunately, I cannot return your sheep.
And he explains it's because for the dragons.
And the guy's like, okay, and he's all sad. But then a guy comes up, and it's Hugh the Hammer. 'Cause his name is Hugh. and
Yeah,
he's a
my
fucking
second
smither.
watch through, I said, I go, Hugh, that sounds familiar from the
Fucking
book.
yeah, Hugh the Hammer, and he's a
Yeah.
smith.
Well, also the other guy was talking about salt. There was a second guy, and they were like, because of the blockade, and he just immediately goes, that treasonous blockade is not going to last very long. I'm sending Vagar to go
Burn
tear
it.
that shit up. Yeah.
Burn that shit down. And Hugh says, basically, we need to be paid before we make the weapons, you know?
Yes,
it
he said the
encourages.
scorpions alone take weeks,
Yeah. And we're not going to be able to eat
and that's going to be our main defense.
Goal.
If you guys think the dragons are coming here, that's our main defense.
And he's like, all right, you'll be paid. You'll be paid well. And Otto goes to shut that down. And he fucking stands up to Otto right then.
Yeah.
And he's like, we need the help of our small folk if we're going to win this war.
Yeah, it's like especially when it's something like weapons. You
Yeah.
know, like if I'm gonna get one win out of today, it's this.
Yeah.
You know.
These people are going to get what they need. And it's right after that, a little court session. that
Yeah,
he's
because you do see Laris
sitting in the stairs.
watching, and
Yeah.
it like shows his point of view to where he like comes out from behind to call him, and he's not looking at anyone in court except for the exchange between Otto and Aegon.
And notices that Otto is trying to undermine him. So he in turn uses that to secretly undermine him.
Yeah,
With
so
his
he
own little fucking schemes.
pulls Aegon aside,
And is like, your dad used to have problems with that.
and he was known to be pliable.
And he was known to be pliable.
Yeah, and Aegon right after that was like, "I'm aware."
And he's
he
like-
has disdain for his father.
Yeah, and he's like, one would think that with war coming, you would want to be looked at differently.
Yeah.
And he's like, how so? He's like, well, your grandfather was your father's hand.
Yeah, like maybe start with a little
Basically,
change
like
in
say,
changing your cabinet.
yeah,
you know?
basically say, you need to get rid of your gramps.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to stop fucking telling you what to do. And then Allison meets with Otto, and she's like, you're late. You're supposed to be, I called on you hours ago. He's like, we've got many things to talk about. And then they're kind of concerned, both of them, that they're not seeing eye to eye on what's going on. Allison's main concern that I got from that scene is basically, and she even says it actually, I need you to stop undermining me in front of them. Aegon barely listens to me, only in private. Aemon doesn't, because he's mad.
Yeah.
If you keep telling these undermining me, those boys will stop listening to me. They'll grow deaf to my voice.
Yeah, she's like telling him like they really look up to you, and with each kind of
thing you go against me, they think less of me and more of you.
Yeah. Which Otto's like, sweet, that's what I'm doing.
And she's like, and then she's like,
doesn't tell her that, but that's basically
yeah. And then she's like, basically what we got to do is we got to just keep it going good until Aegon gets sick of ruling. He'll get over it. It's not going to be fun no more.
It's not gonna, it's going to get tedious to him.
Yeah, it's going to get tedious and boring, and it's not going to be fun.
They're going to pull the old Baratheon.
Yeah.
He's going to want to just drink and whore, and we'll handle everything.
Yeah, and we'll handle everything. We just got to wait. And he's like, that's a fine idea, but we got to deal with Rhaenyra first, basically.
Yeah. Well, he also tells you, he's like, you now have to come to realize that this can't be handled without violence.
Yeah, this is the path to victory leads to violence.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, I understand, but it doesn't have to be want.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be unfucking handled, unchecked.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be, that's what our goal is, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it might have to come to it, but we should be not charging at that. And that's kind of what I think Larys, or Aegon at least took from what Larys was saying, is he was like, the Hand really likes to keep a stern grasp on how things are working now. Like, it's all been going in his favor. This is his his foundation he's built for this. But, you know, maybe you want to do some different things, like what he was saying with how you want to be seen. And Aegon is kind of like, yeah, he seems to think that this war can be won without the use of dragons. And I think that leads back into, like, he really wants to be the badass Dragon King, you know, and if Otto gets set aside, if he puts in place somebody that he feels, maybe one of those buddies he talks with that did the magnanimous thing or something like that, they'll just be a yes man, and he'll be out on Dragonback soon.
Doing whatever he wants, yeah.
So I think that's kind of like Larys's, like, little, like,
Ply.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get this thing kicked off, you know.
Exactly. Let's start doing some real damage. Then it cuts to at sea, where one of the Sea Snake's ships has seized another ship trying to get through the gullet. They found somebody interesting. Sir Eric has found somebody interesting. He's like, you. And she says, last time we met, there were two of you.
And it's the White Worm.
It's the White Worm. And she is not looking good. She's not fucking all classy and clean and rich like she was before, is she, Tisha?
No.
She's looking pretty haggard.
A little haggard. A little dirty.
Down in the bowels of the ship. So even on the ship
and
that
no
she
one
was...
was on it either.
Yeah.
It was just her, just like she'd been malnourished and
in the
beaten.
bowels, hiding. You know, even on the ship she got escape on, she was hiding. And then it's just Daemon basically grilling her. Like, what the hell happened to you?
Yeah. He's like, last I heard you were helping...
Yeah, Otto. Why were you selling Otto? How long were you selling Otto Hightower secrets? She's like, as long as he had the gold to pay. And he's like, fucking pissed off. Like,
yeah.
ooh.
Well, I like what she says, and she's like, you talk of highborn games. She's like, I'm commonborn. Money. That's you know the game. You know the hustle that I play out there.
Yeah, and he goes to like grab her. Like, what? Who would send you away from King? I wonder who sent you away from King's Landing so fucking disheveled. Then.
Yeah. Yeah, and she's like, well, he kind of fucked me.
Yeah,
So,
he kind of.
I'm no fan of his
And
now.
he's like, but you gave him Aegon, and she's like, all I did was tell him where he was. He was gonna go back home eventually.
Yeah, he's gonna want.
I didn't have him held. I didn't have him held captive, bro.
Yeah.
I just knew where his drunk ass was passed out.
Yeah, she's like, you're just mad because your real enemies aren't within reach.
Yeah.
You're mad at me because
I'm right here.
I sold information. What you know is what I do.
Yeah. Okay, where are we at here?
And then,
Oh yeah, Sir Eric, when they're walking out, she says it was just for money, and then Damon's like, fuck she's supposed to be considered a traitor to the crown and be put in the cells beneath Dragonstone or whatever. And then Sir Eric's like, she's telling him the truth. You know, she wasn't buddies with Otto.
Yeah,
It was a one-time thing. It was gold exchange. Wasn't like they were homies.
Yeah, and he's like, why do you even care? And he's like,
You and your
"For-
traitor brother."
For honor. And he was like, honor coming from, you know, you and your traitor brother.
Brother,
Like, you're a
like-
turncoat on the king and your
Yeah.
brother's a traitor. So they're both traitors is basically
Yeah.
what he's trying to say. Like, you turned on your king and your brother isn't with us, so you're both traitors.
Yeah, and you could have and you had fucking Aegon. You were right there. You could have taken care of him. He's like, me and my brother swore an oath to guard the royal family when we were just 8 and 10 years old. What
So
we're
are they
supposed
not
to do-
twins?
They're not twins, I don't think, because he said 8
Or
and
if
10.
they are twins, maybe they took the oaths.
Oaths at different
Yeah.
ages.
Like one of them took 2 years longer to take the oath.
Maybe.
But I thought that was weird. I'm like,
Yeah.
Kingsguard at that young?
Yeah.
Like, were they just
1,000,
super badasses?
I guess.
Had to be.
But he says that, yeah, we did it when we were like 8 years old to guard the entire of the royal family. What were we supposed to do when they started killing each other?
Right, yeah.
When they started turning on each other, we did what we thought.
Yeah.
I chose who I chose, you chose who
We
he
picked
chose.
who we decided was, which was weird because I don't understand how the other one didn't, because wasn't he the one that was like when they
Worked
were
for
in
him.
the pits and shit?
Mhm.
He was like, yeah, that's probably one of his bastards
Right
and shit like that. And he's just chill with it. It's so weird.
Yeah, it was pretty weird. Then Rhaenyra arrives, and she's just tired and sad,
Yeah, exhausted probably.
and she just walks in silently. And they announce her and everything, and she
Damon
walks right
does
up to
that
Daemon.
weird Targaryen where they like rub foreheads.
Yeah,
and
like
shit.
animals, like dragons, kind of.
Yeah,
And then he just says to her, "Did you get what you needed?" And she's like, she just nods.
yeah.
And then she walks over to the table, and they announce, you know, that the gullet's being closed, and this is ravens are sent here, and I'm going to Harrenhal to fucking straighten those fuckers out and all that. And she just says, "I want Aemon Targaryen,"
And then walks off.
and then walks out.
And it's the only command given. And then what does Damon do?
He goes to the
Puts
White
on the murder hood.
Yeah, and he goes and talks to the White Worm, which is, and asks her, you know people that are in the castle and all that stuff. She's like, obviously, and this and that and the other. Which in the books, I guess, it doesn't elaborate on, but nobody was there to elaborate on. Since the book is all from people's histories, and people
Maesters
that-
and Mushrooms perspective.
yeah, and people that were there, or in some place things are confirmed, like witness accounts, because witnesses were there. But a lot of this other stuff the show shows, can be speculated on because nobody was really there to say it didn't happen.
Yeah.
That's got to be fucking fun to write. Kudos to you guys getting to do that and get paid for it too. That'd be a hell of a ride. I don't know though, because you get a lot of flack from people that are like, "Fuck you! You ruined it! I hate you!" But then it shows Jace arrive, and Rhaenyra's just sitting there, and he's just trying to stay manly and tough,
And
he's
just
like, "Your
recording
Grace,"
all of the good things that he did on his journeys.
and yeah, he's like, "Your Grace," and then he's just teary-eyeing, and his lips all a quivering and shit.
It's so
Voice is
sad.
all
It's so
breaking.
sad. It is sad, and
Let's
she's
keep
like trying to
out
let
of
him do
that.
it too. She doesn't call him over earlier.
Yeah.
She's like trying to like,
Like, I'll let
and
you
then
finish.
finally they're like, "Oh," and it's like fucking sad.
And is that his wife? Because he comes in with the Valerian girl, or not
Bela.
Valerian, but Damon's.
Yeah,
kid.
Bela. That's
Yeah.
his.
She like brings him in, like
Mhm.
touches his back and walks
That's
off. I
his
was like,
wife.
okay,
And the other one is now widowed,
yeah.
sadly.
Well, they were only betrothed.
Yeah, they had. And no, they're all only betrothed at this point. He won't marry her till after his.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And on to the nicknames that they're given in the book. Blood and Cheese. I'm sure if we look at the credits, that's got it. And they might call him Ratcatcher, but in the histories, and then in the book, the histories refer to them as Blood and Cheese. So Damon shows up to this place, and he walks up to a guardsman, and he whistles him over, and the guardsman's like, "Hey, been a while since I've seen you here." And Damon's like, "Whoa, I heard you have no love for the Hightowers." It's
Well, I
big.
think it's just one of his buddies from the city watch that
Yeah.
used to run because they do
Oh
say.
yeah, he did say he knows people.
Yeah, well, even I think like it was probably last season, but Otto Hightower was like, he's still got
Loyal
connection, loyal men. So they try to weed them all out, but there's gonna be some,
They just stay quiet and they're like, eh.
Yeah.
And he's like, big old motherfucker. I don't know if I can say without getting in trouble, so you might have to edit that out, but
Big
just
scary
like,
dude.
big scary dude.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
like,
bleep it. It's gonna sound like a different word.
but he's like, fuck the hotels. And it's like, whoa. He sounds like a fucking bear. Big old scary.
It kind of reminded me of the mountain.
Yeah. Like huge.
Not as big as a mountain, but just like that.
And not as mean. He seemed like he could be a cool dude other than what he was for in this episode.
Yeah.
But, like at the bar, he'd be a cool dude to have as a buddy because he just sounds scary.
Yeah.
Because he says quite a few funny things throughout the scenario. But during that time, right after he meets with him, it cuts to Aemon and Sir Kristen talking, and they're throwing down dragons and silver stags on a map to try to kind of make out their battle plan of what needs to happen. And that's where they talked about what you were saying about how dragon fighting is unavoidable. And he says, well, my mother needs to accept that, you know. She says one thing on the one hand and another thing on the other. The queen speaks with two tongues.
Yeah, like like she's angry with me for killing her son and blames me for the war. He's like, while she simultaneously undermined the king and plotted with my grandsire
to steal
my
my grandfather's throne.
Yeah.
Because he's bopping her, he's like, oh, no, Rhaenyra is poisonous spider. she drew Alicent into her web.
I think he's talking
Long
about
time ago.
him when he's talking to me
Yeah.
right there.
He's
Because
like-
he's like, she has a kind heart, but Alicent is such a cunning little spider.
No, Rhaenyra.
Rhaenyra, sorry.
Yeah.
Rhaenyra is such a cunning little spider. She drug Alicent into her
What?
webs and intoxicated her.
Yeah, intoxicated her.
I'm like, so I think that he's like talking about himself in order to talk shit on Rhaenyra to Aemon.
Yeah. And be like, it's not your mom's fault. And then Aemon says,
The best line.
he's like, she has love for her enemy. That makes her a fool.
And just like shuts him up right there.
And he's like, you can't have that.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Otto arrives, and he's like, Sir
Yeah,
Kristen?
Sir Kristen stands up.
And he's like, that'll be all, Sir Kristen. I need to speak to my
Yeah, he's like,
grandson.
go back to your guard or whatever, your post.
And he sits there and he talks to his grandson, and he basically is, I understand you're young, you're wild, you want to get at it. I was young once too, but I promise you'll have your vengeance, the vengeance you seek. But there are things at play here that you don't even know about yet.
Yeah.
You don't even understand. So just let us handle it, and I'll let you fucking feed your dragon all the fucking traitors you want. You
Yeah.
can't just fucking wantonly kill
Yeah.
like crazy. Go
Also,
burning shit down.
I kind of need your dragon to circle the city for a
Yeah.
while, so.
Can't be burning everything down that we're going to try to build on. Then cuts back to, because it kind of cuts back and forth between all that, and it goes to blood and cheese again. And
This
they're
is where blood meets cheese, right?
no, they're going to, Damon goes to meet with him right there. And he's sitting at the fire, and he's basically got debts, I guess. Because he's like, you like to gamble? How'd you like to gamble in the fight? He's like, yeah. And dogs and whatever. And he's like, how big are your debts? And the guy's like, and Damon goes to hold a big old thing of gold out. The guy goes to grab it, and Damon pulls it back. And the guy kind of like smirks, like, oh, I got you.
Yeah,
Okay, well,
alright, what
It's
do I
like,
have
see,
to
this
do?
is my friend here. Tonight he's going to be your friend. He's just as big as shit, dude. And he's like, you're going to get into the castle and you're going to kill Aemon Targaryen. And he's like, all right. And so that's basically the plan, right?
Well, then the guy cheese is like, what if we can't find him?
And that's when Damon smirks. Damon smirks and is like, I didn't notice that the first time. Because I thought that the show was making it seem like he was nicer. Because, you know, TV tries to lighten things up sometimes to be like, well, we want people to like the actor and the character of David.
Yeah, like if they're
He's the hero.
on that side, on that, you know.
But in the books, it's very clear cut that he wanted a son. He wanted direct payback for the boy.
And the
No,
episode is called.
Son for his son.
Yeah.
So they're in the Red Keep later on, and they're passing past Aegon and all his buddies, like drunk in the
Throne
in the
room.
throne room. They're just all talking about like, and that's what he says, magnanimous. Nobody knows what magnanimous means.
You gotta come with something else.
Yeah, Aegon the Generous. He's like, that'll be good for the small folk.
Well, what do you say? My nephew already took that one. It was Aegon the. I forgot what he said. But he's like, my nephew already claimed that one. I'm like, oh shit.
And then they're just coming up with all kinds of cheesiness, and then they're like looking.
Yeah, he's like Aegon the Dragonheart, and he's like
Aegon the Dragon Cock.
He's like,
Fierce.
untamable, fierce beast.
Yeah, the untamable beast.
and it's funny, I saw this in a meme, but it just kind of registered to me. He's like sprawling out in that fucking throne chair, and I'm like, motherfucking Viserys died by a little cut, like
Yeah.
sitting on it too
How
much.
is he not getting like sliced?
He's got his crotch just like
Well, he probably saw what happened to Viserys, and he was like, we need to grind some of these.
yeah.
These
File
swords
some of these down.
Yeah. Well, they do make a lot of changes because obviously, 200 years later or whatever,
There's not that many
not
on there.
all of them all over the floor and shit.
Which
too.
wonder what that was from. I wonder what caused that to be. The need for more people in court. There's so many people
maybe
in
it was
court at a
near
certain
maybe it was
point.
near the Mad King's age or something.
Yeah. So then, Blood and Cheese sneak past, them, because obviously the king is not the target, which is another stupid moment, I think. I think that, but
They wouldn't be able to take on because he had a bunch of his friends with him, and some
They were
were
drunk.
probably trained.
but you're not getting out alive.
Yeah, yeah,
You're not getting out alive killing the king in his throne room. You know what I mean?
yeah.
You could kill a guy in a hallway or whatever, his
His
brother.
book,
You could kill his brother in the hallway or his bedroom.
Yeah.
But you're not going to kill the king in his own throne room and get out of that place alive. So I guess they're not complete morons. But I thought that for a second. I was like, just fucking stab him. Then now thinking back on it,
Yeah.
you're not getting anywhere. Even that big dude. And then, so they get, and they bring a dog with. I guess we forgot to mention they bring a dog with as they're coming into the Red
Well,
Keep.
because it's just
He's a
that's
rat
when I was
catcher.
rewatching it, I honestly skipped over that part because it's just a lot of different hallways and them walking like sewages, and then some hallways.
And then they're in quarters, like just looking for shit.
Yeah.
But that's later. But before they get to the quarters, they're at the bottom of the stairs. And he's like, where is it? And he's like, well, this is the royal quarters. Yeah? That's where we need to go.
Yeah.
And he's like, but rat catchers aren't allowed in the royal quarters.
But he's like, it's a different set of rat catchers up there. That's where the family lives.
And he's like,
They have their own pearl. And that's probably because of what Laris was part of, He was
Yeah.
like, there's a different staff for up there.
yeah, now. Oh, yeah, shit. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So he's like, I can't go up there.
And he's
well,
like,
why do we
well,
have to
how
go
the
up
fuck
there?
are we supposed to kill a prince if we're not in the royal fucking chambers, stupid? And
Yeah.
he's like, I was supposed to get you in. I thought the rest was your idea. And he fucking slapped him. I could just fucking kill you right now and just take all the gold.
Yeah. Take the other half of the gold. But, so the guy, then Cheese takes him up there. Then
And he's
he
like,
gets
I just
mad
don't know my way
again. He
around.
goes, I don't know my way around there. I
I
can
can get you out there, but I don't know my way around. So they're just wandering around, and they're just emptying what they see of value, looking around. And he won.
Yeah, Blood's like grabbing gold. He's like, if we can't get ahead, we're not going to get any gold. So he's like
Yeah.
scooping all the fucking shit off. It might have been those coins at the.
Yeah, we're throwing around.
Yeah.
And then he says something to the maid, shh, to the maid. And that's when they notice that in the other room there's a little commotion. He goes over, and Cheese has got...
Yeah, because he's like pretending to set up a trap because the maid's there. And
Yeah,
then once she disappears, he grabs his sword and runs out because he thinks he's got to take her out.
yeah,
And she's just gone.
yeah. And it's Cheese has Helena the Queen. And that's a big difference in the books. And this is where I think the book was way better.
I think so too, but also could kind of play into what you were talking about with TV, trying to make you like characters more and shit like that.
Yeah, and also the whole love affair with Alicent. And Sir Kristen
And it's
isn't
not-
confirmed in the books because there's nobody there to see them fucking around, right?
Yeah.
So to have that continue on in the show, something happens here in a moment we're going to mention that kind of has to have the story changed of what happens with Helena and her kids.
That's true, but also there's not a lot of focus on Maelor in the show,
Not yet.
and so you really only know about the two.
The boy and the girl, yeah.
So
And that's the way the show changes it too. So basically in the book, they grab, spoiler alert, they grab, Alicent is with her. Helena and Alicent are all in their chambers and they grab all of them and threaten to kill them if they don't, do what they say and make a noise, whatever. And he basically says, we're here for a son. And there you've got two sons here. Pick which one you want to lose, is what they tell Helena. And she doesn't offer a necklace like in the show, something so simple. It's her life. She's like, take me. And I'm like, that's not a son, is it?
yeah,
We need a son. Take your pick, or we're gonna kill all of them, every last one of you. Which even in the books, Alicent doesn't speak up, so they must have her like fucking grabbed.
yeah.
Because you'd think she would at least fucking give an opinion or something.
Well, I think it's the fucked up part is you're saying it to the mother.
yeah.
Like,
They're asking
Alicent might just be fucking. What's the word I'm looking for? Like bad enough or whatever.
Yeah.
That's just you just pick one. You know, that one.
I don't like that little bastard.
Yeah.
That's my least favorite grandkid. He's always breaking my shit. But no, see, so they basically in the book, they tell Helena, make you choose. And she chooses the younger son, because it's not Aegon's heir, and she assumes that he's too young to remember anything. He's not even going to feel it, not going to know anything. Cheese leans over and even says to the little kid,
You hear
well, your
that?
mama wants you dead. You hear that, boy? Your mama wants you dead, right? And then he's like, then he looks at Blood. And Blood takes the kid's head clean.
The other
Quick and
one.
clean.
Not the one that she said.
Yeah.
The other one.
Yeah, his heir, the older boy. So the exact opposite. And they leave the boy alive that she chose, and with the knowledge that his mom chose him to die.
Yeah.
That is better. That's the better version. But
Still sad.
the TV show, which traumatized Tisha a little bit,
Oh
Did you have
is
the volume up? Because it's
Yeah.
pretty gnarly.
yeah, the volume's up. It's gnarly. It's a boy and a girl, and they don't know which one's the boy and the girl. Like before, Aegon even didn't know because they look so similar. So they're trying to get Helena to tell him, who it is, which one's the boy, which one's the girl, and she's just like, I have a necklace.
It's of great value.
And they're like, we don't want a fucking necklace.
He just snatches it. He's
Not
like,
a
it's not a
son.
son.
Yeah, it's not a son.
Yeah.
And then she's like, and she points, and then they go to grab him, but then Blood's like, no, the mother wouldn't give up her son like that.
The
And he's
air,
like,
the air that easily.
the air that easily, and Cheese looks at her in the eyes and can tell that she's like fucking not all there, and he's like, no, she's telling the truth.
Yeah, she's like,
And the part that traumatized, we're gonna let Tisha tell. What was so traumatizing?
Okay, so they grab the kid. He wakes up,
I didn't notice that the first time. His eyes do open,
yeah.
which freaking traumatized the hell out of me.
and he
'cause-
makes like a little whimper.
Yeah,
Like,
he starts crying, and they're just slicing
they don't
the
show
kid.
it. They don't show it.
Ugh.
But they
Yeah,
make
Helena kind of like, as soon as they start, the way they kind of shoot it's nice because they move out of screen. Well, and it
Off
shows them
screen.
grab the mouth of the kid's face
yeah.
and the eyes open, and then the other one comes up, and then it just shows
Pans away
over
from
to
the
her, and she runs over to the other crib or bed or whatever, grabs the little girl, and just starts
And
booking
keeps
it.
it keeps all the violence off camera, other than the audio,
Yeah.
which is enough to make it pretty gnarly. It's,
Yeah.
it's hacking. It's hacking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is not clean like the book.
Mm-mm. It's like-
So, and I thought that was strange. You go to the effort of making it a little easier on the
Storyline
audience
of it.
because on the audience because the mother doesn't have to choose, so it's not that traumatic for her.
Yeah.
But then you go to the effort of, well, if we're not going to do that, we're going to make it as fucking like a steak getting hacked to bits.
Yeah.
It was
So-
pretty graphic sounding, and I guess that's why some of you are freaking out. I haven't read anything, but I've read headlines that say people are freaking out. A lot of people freaked out about the dog too, which was fucked up. We forgot to say he kicked the dog before he goes after the big dude.
They're in like a little like point where it turns, and he's like, "We got to go up to the next level." And he's like, "I told you I'd only get you in here." And he was like, "Fuck." Cheese is like, "God damn it!" And he kicks the dog. The dog runs off, and they start stepping up the stairs toward the royal level.
People freaked out about that. You all freaked out about that. It was pretty fucked up. Not as fucked up as the kid getting, his head lopped off. But basically, right after that, Alice, like he was saying, Helena's just running. She just runs quiet, and she kind of stops. And then she thinks, go to her mother's room. She goes to her mother's room, and then, bam, Allison is again with Sir Kristen Cole.
She said they're not supposed to do it again, though.
Yeah, they weren't supposed to do it again. But this
And now
time
she's not just getting eaten out. She's fucking
on top, like making him sit down. She's using him like a fucking marital aid. It's kind of sad. Probably doesn't let him talk or anything. Yeah, like a mechanical bull.
Just going to town.
Yeah. I'm tired of your services, Sir Kristen. You may go now. But then, yeah, she's just doing her thing, and Helena walks in, and she's obviously
And
panicked.
Helena doesn't even
Acknowledge that's what's happening. She sits down, and they jump off, and Sir Kristen just kind of stays off camera.
Yeah, he just it looks like he's
Kinda
trying to
his
like get his shit
stuff
together.
on,
It's like a
and
man.
Allison's kind of looking down, and she goes, "What happened? What is it?" And she just looks up, and she's holding her other kid. She goes, "They killed the boy." And Allison, it shows the depth of what it means to Allison.
And that's the end.
Okay, goodbye. So I think, and it shows that he's gonna go nuts. He's gonna go ape shit.
It's kind of cool that you're able to take the liberties because now everything's not spoiled. Like you know how it's
With the
gonna
books.
all end.
Yeah,
But it could be a completely different journey there.
and the reasons why.
Yeah.
You're left by listening to the book or reading the book. You're left to make your own motivations, and they even say that's for you to decide.
These are
stories.
just the facts being reported, not facts, but the
Yeah.
stories being reported by these
And at
different
certain
accounts.
points, you gotta trust whoever you want to trust. You
Yeah,
know?
and it's like some stories are like the only person that wrote about this was
Yeah.
this person.
So
you
we
have to
take
take
him.
their word
Yeah,
for it.
Mushroom was the only one that was there, so
Yeah.
we're gonna take his word for it on this one.
Yeah.
Shit like that. So it's kind of cool to get those little. Oh, that's a cool motivation for him being that way.
Yeah.
That's cool, or her, or whatever.
I think that's going to happen a lot with Laris.
Yeah.
Because he's not as integral.
He's just like, I wonder if Littlefinger's
There's a lot of times there's just like, he's just, in the book, like they just come back and they're like, and
He's
then
back.
Laris started talking, like, oh shit, Laris just been in King's Landing this whole time?
Yeah, all this murder and death, and he's just fucking gone under the radar.
Yeah. So I don't know.
But we will see it tomorrow, and we will see you guys next week. Peace.